Hello, my name is Dante Renee, and welcome to the 10 Room Bizarro YouTube page where I talk about films that I believe need to be talked about more, like tonight's film, Jess Franco's VAMPYROS Lesbos, or VAMPYROS Lesbos, I believe, if I'm mispronouncing that. And I have two releases here in front of me. This is the original release I bought about 11 years ago from Image Entertainment. This is it right here, and it has the copyright in the back. It's 1971. And that is, I believe, the year that's on IMDb. And then I have the newer Severin release right here. This is a slipcover, and it has 1970 as the copyright on the back. And I'm showing you both of these releases here because I have such memories of this original Image release, because this was the first Jess Franco film I ever saw, approximately about 12 years ago, something like that. And the Severin release just recently got, put out about a year or so ago, and Blu-ray, with a DVD of the Spanish bootleg as well, and it looks beautiful. The Blu-ray looks unbelievable with great features and everything. I obviously couldn't be more happy, since this was the first Jess Franco film I ever saw. VAMPYROS Lesbos was my first entrance into the world of Jess Franco's cinema. And not only his visual cinema, but also his audio cinema. The soundtrack to this film, which has been released time and time again on CD formats and also vinyl editions, white vinyl, different colored vinyl editions, double vinyl, gatefold packaging by Crippled Dick Wax. I have those releases. You can easily find them on Amazon or eBay. And this was my entrance into the most intoxicating cinematic world that I've ever entered into before. And to this day, it is my narcotic, it is my drug, and most of it is unexplainable. I'm talking about in my personal connections. Just like his films could be unexplainable. It is all felt, vibed, and stylized, and VAMPYROS Lesbos was my first entrance there. This film has Soledad Miranda, and it was one of the few films that she was in before her tragic car accident. And you can see her at such a peak in this film, and see her potential in this film as well. We essentially have a vampire tale, a Dracula tale, that takes place on a beach, on a warm climate, luxurious, padded 1970s beach. Beautiful sand and ocean and decks and porches and steps leading up, and boat rides. So when's the last time you saw a vampire tale in the tropical weather? VAMPYROS Lesbos is it. Let's get into this film. First things first, I've said before in previous Jess Franco reviews that I always believe that other than the vagina or the woman's butt, Franco has such a fascination with sailboats. And it's something that I see time and time again in his films. He will make it a point to focus, to zoom in on a sailboat at some unannounced sucker punch time in the film experience. And this film doesn't just focus on them in a way that almost seemingly deviates from the story. It is part of the story in that the characters are connected to these boats in traveling and in their own personal connections to other characters in the story and into their vulnerability in the story. I recently reviewed Lorna the Exorcist by Franco on this YouTube page, and there are many connections between these films. To me, you see a common trope of a woman who is luring another woman to herself. You see a tortured woman in a medical facility, and the sudden appearance of the woman who is also luring her in a very similar way as Lorna the Exorcist. So that was it was very, very interesting. Even the name Linda, the way Linda is repeated in Vampiros Lesbos, there's the, is I mean, there's a lot of similarities between Lorna and this film. And he did like the name Linda in his films as well. So there's, Hot Nights of Linda, and it's very, very interesting. So music first. The music of this film is unbelievable. Okay, that's I mean, what there's not much more you could say about how unbelievable this music is, but at the same time there's a lot more to say. It is it's as if you're in a bachelor pad in the 70s. Sleazy yet sophisticated. A little dirty around the edges, yet elegant and luxurious. The smell of cigarette and cigar smoke permeates the area. There's a shaggy rug on the ground, a little bit dirty. A couple pairs of panties on the ground in the corner. Maybe a little blood stain on one of the bed mattresses. And the smell of incense in the air and liquor. These are the sounds of this beatnik, sleazy, funky, loungy, experimental, exotic soundtrack to this film. It is avant-garde, it pushes the envelope, and it is purely candy to your ears, even if you're not a Franco fan. So let's go into the architecture of this film. I noted it a little bit already, but we have this lavish, luxurious, seemingly mansion right on the water with these steps that just lure itself all the way up. Franco seems to love these luxurious locations that have these steps that just lure themselves all the way up. He loves the steps up. The steps up to a location, to a mansion. And we have also a dingy, dark basement. And Franco's character Franco is in this film, and he's playing a deranged, psychotic, sadomasochistic character, definitely in this piece. And we have wondrous hallways, a wondrous carpeted, inconceivably carpeted ceiling, wondrous staircases. We have this inn, this mysterious inn that almost reminded me at times of the inn of Christina, Princess of Eroticism, or / Virgin Among the Living Dead, which I've reviewed on this YouTube page as well. Just unbelievably lush, and the furniture and the carpeting and the angles and the locations of what's happening. And when you get into the cinematography of Franco in this film, I mean, these are some of the most unbelievably 70s beautiful, foreign, exotic locations and pads you'd want to live in. And his cinematography in here, we have amazing stylistic zooms in this film. Lots of zooms in this film. Lots of interesting avant-garde experimental cinema in this film, with focuses on scorpions and focuses on moths caught in a window, and we have women floating in water. We have writhing women on the floor. There's the beginning of this film is so utterly stylized and sucks you into this journey, as Soledad is kind of draping these red kind of scarves right into the camera like this, and the title card Vampiros Lesbos comes across the screen. You know what you're getting yourself into as the music is pounding, and there is such a pace and an energy to this film when it starts, and then in the middle there's dialogue, and it's slower paced, and it's smooth. It's kind of makes it like almost like it slows down and paces itself in dialogue and concepts and the occult, and then all of a sudden, it envelops once again. And Franco's character also has a psychotic energy as well for this film. And there's even a jump scare in this film, in a way, with Franco's character near the beginning of the film. And, this is a film that has so much style. Another similar Franco trope are nightclubs, and boy, are the nightclub sequences in this film spectacular, involving, you know, a mannequin and Soledad Miranda and another woman acting as a mannequin in a way, and mirrors. Yes, yes, you will see Franco's mirrors in here, and you will see Franco doing these things where he's shooting through windows and just getting the person's kind of reflection with the reflection of what they're looking at in the window as well. Of course, never seeing Franco's camera at the same time. It's unbelievable. And just this hazy, tropical, hot day, mystery in the air, and you know, you're getting women, you know, walking barefoot in this film. And if you like feet, you're gonna get a bunch in this film, especially from the blonde actress in this film, and I'm blanking on her name right now, but it's Ewa Stromberg. Yes, supposedly she was hard to work with. She was also in She Kills in Ecstasy, which I'll be looking at again on this page. And if you like legs, and also if you know, there's the last nightclub sequence in this film is it's the most explicit nightclub sequence in the film, and it's sexual and sensual and bizarre, and the angles are so erotic, and just, it's unbelievable what he's doing here as art collides with erotica, and erotica is art, and as the bizarre and the surreal, you can see Franco's surreal theatrical experience before cinema in the nightclub sequences in this film. The nightclub sequences in this film are sexual, meeting the surreal and meeting the artistic, and they're unbelievable. We have just wondrous tables in this film with red candles and red everywhere, and of course blood, and Franco's blood, and this is a film where you are going to see full frontal nudity from the women and their butts as well. There's a great shot of Ewa kind of, I believe she's like kind of laying on the floor, and there's like this little hole right under her butt, in between her thighs, that light is kind of pouring through. It's like that little hole that the thighs make, if you know what I'm talking about. And just the sun and the surreal and the dreams and the illusions meeting the occult. Is there actually the occult happening in this film at all? Or is it a dream, or is it an illusion, or the surreal? And it's all colliding in this amazing, erotic, horror, like just surreal kaleidoscope. I mean, really, it's a surreal kaleidoscope of hip, cool, lush, that bachelor pad vibe as well, that it's so hip and cool. You can see Tarantino loving this film. There is such a hip, cool, yet elegant, yet sleazy vibe to this film, and even the sexuality of this film is so hip, it's so cool, it just has that vibe. There's so much about this film that I absolutely love, and of course, you know, all the sexuality of this film is lesbianism, and the violence of the film. You know, Franco's never known to be gory or things like that, but you know, there's blood, and there's some sucking of blood, and there's just one scene with Soledad that really almost makes me gag sometimes, as kind of a heap amount of blood kind of comes out of her mouth. It looks like mucus is in there as well. Oh, this is Vampyros Lesbos, folks. Jess Franco, 1970, one of those, Soledad Miranda. Thank you so much, guys. I'm going to put up this original one right here. Look at that. Vampyros Lesbos. Vampyros Lesbos. Thank you for watching the 10 Room Bizarro YouTube page, where I talk about films that I believe need to be talked about more, like this one. Thank you. Watch Vampyros Lesbos.